The joke's on you when supersizing your business. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, and our idiom today is the joke's on you. Now, this is an idiom I don't think I've probably used very often. I'm sure I have used it in my lifetime and career. I'm old enough now that I've used a lot of these, or at least heard and been exposed to them. But joke's on you means that it's used to describe somebody who is making a joke or pulling a practical joke or thinking that they're clever, only to discover that they end up being the butt of the joke, or they end up being the one that gets laughed at. Now, how does this show up as we're building and growing and supersizing our business? A lot of times we think we're super duper smart, smarter than everybody else, smarter than the competition, smarter than anybody that's gone before us. As entrepreneurs, we are smart, but we're not like the be all and know all of everything. And we get an idea and we put it in play without doing enough research, without doing all of our homework. And you only make this mistake a couple of times before you learn to do your homework, to do your research, to do your due diligence, so that you don't get burned, because otherwise the mistakes are on you. And guess what? All of our mistakes are on us. And sometimes if we look at them with humor and lessons learned and a positive spin, then we won't make those mistakes over and over again. We will move forward. But I think of this idiom as April Fool's jokes. Never been a giant April Fool's person, probably because I don't consider myself very funny. Thus, this humorous hairdo, right? That's about as funny as I can get. There's different types of humor. We're talking about humor and communication today for this year's annual challenge. We're focusing on communication goals this month, which communication has a huge impact on building and growing and supersizing our business. But joking or using negative humor is probably not the way we want to go. Have you ever talked about your competition or said anything about your competition only to have that backfire on you in terms of potential customers taking it as a positive and then going to the competition, doing their due diligence and saying, oh, well, you think that's a negative, but for me personally, it's a positive. So that's an example of the joke being on us when we do things or say things that we think are going to benefit us, but they really don't. Life and our businesses are a mirror and a reflection of what we put out into the world. Business is an incredible exchange of value. So if you're putting positive out, you'll get positive back. If you're putting negative out, guess what? You might make money in the short run, but you're probably going to get more negative backlash coming at you, which is the joke's on you. An example of that. Practical jokes, again, not a big practical jokester. Don't like being the butt of practical jokes, so I don't play practical jokes. There's another example of this would be giving somebody misinformation, thinking that they're going to act on it, and then it turns out you get misinformation back and you act on it and make a mistake. So there's a lot of meanness that goes along with the joke being on you. So I don't love this idiom, but it doesn't mean I shouldn't understand and know how to use it in a positive way, in a positive spin for building and growing and supersizing my business. Humor can be a terrific way, especially in marketing, word puns, satire, irony, relatable to our customer. We want it to be something that our customers find funny, not that we necessarily find funny, but that they do, because that makes us more relatable. That builds and strengthens camaraderie. It eliminates differences. It builds trust and understanding when we have common ground and commonalities. And humor can be a great common thread that can run through our organization. There are businesses and organizations that use humor to sell their products all the time. Think of commercials. Funny commercials get our attention and they're memorable. We remember those funny commercials and we share them with other people, which is exactly what marketers and advertisers want us to do. I mean, how many jingles and humorous things do we have stuck in our head, from our childhood? One thing about having grandkids is it reminds me of all the stuff that's buried in my memory that I didn't even know was there, but I still know all the words to. Things like that, things to poems and nursery rhymes and childhood songs that are still used today. So how can we use humor in a positive way to build and grow and supersize our business, and not in a negative way that alienates people? It's kind of like aligning yourself with a political ideology. It can attract people to you, but it can also alienate a lot of the people that you could be here to serve. So just like humor, choose your causes wisely and make sure they're in alignment with your business and your customers and how you want to show up in the world. And pigtails be darned, because I think they're humorous. I used to love to go for walks in the state park and wear like ponytails or piggy tails, you know, because I'm in my 50s and back then and in my 60s, and people would just give me the funniest looks, and it kind of made my day, because you know they're smiling and laughing on the inside, and even if they're ridiculing me, it still made their day in a positive way. And so I like doing things like that. All right, love to know your take on the jokes on you. Have you ever been the butt of the joke, or have you ever been making a joke only to have it backfire on you? Doesn't feel very good, and so maybe that's why I'm not into humor and jokes, because I'm not very good at telling them. Don't want to be, but I probably could be a little more lighthearted and humorous in certain situations. All right, have a great day. I will, of course, be with you tomorrow with another interesting idiom. What does it mean? Where does it come from? And how might you use it to build and grow and supersize your business right now?